not raining, so I'm able to do my walk in a t-shirt, which is rather nice. Anyway, can't hold it. G4KWT.
GW6 and YMS, listening through, Golf Whiskey 6 Yankee Mike Sierra.
GW6 Yankee Mike Sierra, GW6 Yankee Mike Sierra, G1YPQ Mobile.
G1YPQ Mobile, G0JIW Mobile.
Hi Mish, how you doing? Using the Boxchip at the moment. On its own, without the fist mic. Just parked. I actually finished for the day, but can't go back to the depot till around 5 o'clock, 4:45, 10 to 5, something like that. And sign off on the old iPhone. You've probably seen most of my comments. Still enjoying it. It's kind of when something's there and you know it's not working. I've been in deep discussion, but very hard to have a conversation. And then when you tell them that the Enrico, which is far cheaper, has a most excellent. How do you know? Have you tried? And lots of people have tried. In fact, someone's actually taken it apart and saying it's quite interesting circuitry in there. And when you remove it, there is very little signal. When you put the aerial back on, there is a good signal, and people are putting antennas on. Oh no, the LT signal, I can send you the reports, they are very, very good. Maybe I shouldn't put that accent on, I didn't mean that, but that's kind of how it was coming across. And they said, well, there's nothing we can change. And I said, well, surely it wouldn't have been a massive design change to actually have nothing there. For just sort of blank it off in a case. But you've actually put something there just for cosmetics that doesn't do anything, and that isn't good, and it isn't going to go down well on a high-end piece of equipment. So kind of got there in the end, well, I certainly don't regret getting it. As I said before, when I had a pre-production one, is the selling point is actually the screen, and everything else is silky smooth. Obviously the other problem with the what they were saying is apparently there must be two bands. I think one is American and one is UK. They can't have both of them, they can only have one or the other, and I'm guessing that they've made a decision to go for the mass market rather than the smaller market. I've been in quite interesting discussion today, but there you go. Anyway, trust you well, and back round to you from G1YPQ Stroke Mobile.
G0JIW Mobile. Yes, interestingly, Carl, you've got a bit of background noise on there, and it's the same as what I heard on Chris's this morning, Chris from Moonraker. There's like a motorboat sound, almost like or even a sewing machine, type sound in the background. And I heard that on Chris's this morning, so I don't know whether they've got a little fault there, mate, but that's unusual to hear it on two devices. And yeah, I'm very disappointed, and I do sort of feel for you, mate, because it's not everything I would have wanted. I'm going to see what the new Enrico comes out with, to be perfectly honest with you, because I had such high hopes for this Boxchip, but for that money, I could go out and buy myself a quite reasonably priced Android smartphone that would perform better, you know, and I might even do that yet. But I'm going to hang on. I'm going to see what the new Enrico's like. Hopefully that'll be will do what I want it to do. But yeah, there we go. It's sad, really. But you know, last night I went as far on Moonraker's site as clicking on the bit to send the money. Thought, no, wait, you fool. Really glad I did now. So, but no, I can't see one being in my shack, mate, unfortunately. From G0JIW Mobile.
G1IKF Mobile. Yeah, good afternoon, Mission Cal. Yeah, I heard you call out initially, Carl, but Zella wouldn't let me in. Disconnect, reconnect, I seem to have cured the problem. Yeah, I'm glad you mentioned that, Mish, because I noticed on Carl's audio, and I was actually going to ask him, did he have the boiler running in the van? Because certainly that clicking sound is definitely not what I would have thought was a normal sound, but it's interesting you mentioned that's the second time we've heard it, so yeah, really interesting. And as we speak, Aidan should be well, being eaten by Hairy Paul's guard goose. I believe the sort of more or less rendezvous together. Over to you, Carl. G1YPQ, G1 Mobile.
G1YPQ returning. I've turned everything off in the van now, but I'm sure it will still be there. The niggles and joys of jumping on board first. Hopefully, I'm trying to think. Last night I was getting some good audio reports, and the only difference is I was actually running on Wi-Fi. So perhaps it's got something to do with being on the cellular network. But nonetheless, it shouldn't be doing it. And if it's doing it on two devices, obviously there is a problem there. Which hopefully that problem could be sorted out on a firmware issue. But talking to the Chinese, yes, I may as well be talking to my dog and getting it to take notice of me. But no, these things are sent to triers. It's let's just say I'm happy. I'm pleased I didn't pay the price that I should have paid for it. Although, like you, Mish, the new Enrico looks very, very interesting, very inviting. And I don't know how you can make an Enrico look more rugged, but they seem to have just got the look. It's a little bit like when they update a car, isn't it? It's I don't know, on the LED lights on it, and they add some extra little bits, and it's the exact same car from the year before, but they've made some little changes to it that just make it look that bit better. Different design of lights, etc. But yes, it will be interesting what comes out of the Enrico factory. And from a performance point of view, as I was saying to Roy earlier today, the antennas are biggie for me. It's which I've tried to get across to them today is, why would you put something on that doesn't work on a high-end piece of equipment, as that is what they're selling it. If I'd got the DMR version and the DMR was working well and it needed that antenna for it to work, and it was internal antennas for I could live with that, because it's there, it's serving a purpose, it's actually doing something. But it does nothing. It just sticks there and annoys me because it doesn't do anything. It doesn't serve a purpose. Back around to you, Mish, from G1YPQ, and I'm taking it that noise is still there. Over to you, Mish.
From G0J Mobile. I couldn't discern it quite as much that time. It was definitely there at the beginning of the rover, but I couldn't. I listened very carefully at the end, but I am on a Bluetooth earpiece, so not exactly the best. But maybe Roy could comment. But I think it disappeared. I'm not sure. But it was definitely there at the beginning of the over, and as I say, I heard exactly the same noise on Chris's Boxchip this morning. Yeah, I felt exactly the same as you, Carl. What's the point in putting it on there? In a way, it's good because you could take it off and it still looks like a slightly different mobile phone if you're going to dual purpose it, which is what I was thinking of, which is the only thing that's putting me off the new Enrico. I'm not so sure I could use it as a phone as well. Because that's what I'm looking to do. I'm looking to have one device. I can put two SIMs in. Use one on network radios, use it on network radios, and as a phone as well. I can't see it at the moment. I thought this was going to be the one, but no, it's not. And I don't think the Enrico will quite do it. It'll probably be a very nice radio. But it's not exactly what I'm looking for, to be perfectly honest. I'll probably never get exactly what I'm looking for, I know that. But it's always going to be a compromise. But yeah, a tad disappointed, mate. I really am. So there we go. And yeah, okay, I'm talking to China there. I guess as much. And yeah, have they put it to American standards? I'm going to have to check out on that one. I'll have a look at that, because I thought American was different again to Europe. It seems like it's a bit of a hybrid, to be perfectly honest with you. It's almost like just a few years ago when you used to get phones that were to lots of different companies, and they would only, order in a phone to a standard of what they the bands that they used, and that's what it's very reminiscent of, rather than like the high-end phones like the iPhones and the top-end Samsungs and everything, which are unlocked and will do all bands. So there we go. Anyway, guys, just arriving home, just about to park up the car, but we'll be listening to you. Randy Roy, G0JIW Mobile.
G1 AKF Mobile with the group. No, I'm afraid it's still there, Carl. Just taking Leslie for an appointment, and we can both hear it. It wasn't quite as distinctive initially without... Oh, it's gone. No, it hasn't. And it certainly arrived back as audible as it was initially. Again, like you say, Mish, a bit of an interesting, is it American market, European market, what market is it made for? And a little bit infuriating that it doesn't do O2 and the 4G. Again, I'm really surprised at that, and I really would have liked to seen Android 7 at least, given that Android 9's been released now. Why not, guys? I did like the Chinese accent though, Carl. I think that was a good attempt, but I don't think it helped matters, I'm afraid. And more the point, what are you going to do with it now? But yeah, dilemma that would be. I would really want a working aerial. That is one of the benefits of the T320. And I would actually say the T320 audio is better. The new Enrico device looks fantastic. But then I do ponder, so did the TM8, and look what happened to that. They completely messed it up, and yeah, where did that get us? Food for thought, guys, don't know. Over to you, Carl. G1YPQ, G1 IKF Mobile.
G1YTQ. Hopefully that's Zello that's playing up, because I had to disconnect and reconnect, and I was just getting the, should we call it the circle of death? Not connecting. Right, make of this what you will. This is Ella from China. You tested. How do you test? Our device have LTE B1, B2, B3, B4, B5, B7, B8, B28. No B20, because B28 can't with B20 together. Maybe next mass we will produce model with B20 and remove B28. I won't go on to what I've said, just customer's not happy, device has antenna that does nothing. And yes, B20 would be much better instead of B28, and connect LTE to external antenna. I won't go on, it's very, very painful if I go on, but that was the kind of the run of the mill. And then it's you sell lots of these radios in your group, and I send you free a DMR one, and I said I don't think I'll be selling a lot of these within the group, and certainly not now that the audio issue has raised its head. It's back to the drawing board. So there you go. But no, done it, got it. Does lots of other nice things. You've seen the pictures. It is usable in its current state. Let's see if they come up with anything for an audio fix. I'll try it again on Wi-Fi, and if the audio problem persists on the Wi-Fi, well, we certainly do have a problem, Houston. Are you still with us, Mish? I'll put it over to you. I wasn't sure whether you said you were going or not. Apologies for that. And been following Paul, Aidan, sorry, not Paul, who's going to Paul's. And I've got just managed to get myself a nice big box to send Harry Paul some goodies up, which I think he'll be very pleased with. I've been emptying out the drawers of things that haven't been used for a very considerable time. Round to you, Mish, and if Mish has disappeared and arrived at destination, you pick it up, Roy, from G1YPQ.
Good afternoon from M1BPT, just listening, folks.
Hi, good afternoon, Paul. Yeah, mission had arrived, Carl, and said she'd be listening, but she was into the house, I believe. Interestingly, your audio has improved. That sound has vanished, and we've turned you completely up the volume, and we hear nothing now, Carl. It seems to have vanished, so really intrigued to know what that's about and how you got rid of it, apart from you've rekeyed. Don't know. You're left with a dilemma, but we are disappointed that you didn't continue with your Chinese accent. We did think that was giving us a good laugh for the day and quite enjoyable. Afternoon, Paul. I am going to have to bow out. We're just short of where we need to be for the appointment, and time to say 7-3s yet again, and we'll catch up accordingly. So with that, over to you, Paul, rather than sitting on the side. You know your call sign from G1IKF Mobile.
Yeah, afternoon to you, Roy. Nice to hear you. Sorry you're dashing out. We're a little bit like ships that's crossing. I was about to say, was this on the famous new purchase, Carl? Because I've got it very, very audible. It's a little bit mellow rather than sharp, the actual quality, but there's no background and no rumble. So if there was any sort of overbleed or anything else on the actual processor, you certainly can't hear it at the moment. Round to you.
Good afternoon from N7LXI in Pennsylvania.
N7LXI, G1YPQ and the group. Good afternoon to you. Probably good morning to you over there, I'm not too sure. 7-3s, Roy. I hope we catch up with you later on. The mellow's me, Paul. I'm generally always mellow, chilled out and mellow. But yeah, using the Boxchip, I think you've done some comments and you've probably seen the posts. Not a total disappointment, just if you've been listening, just disappointed of why put an antenna on something. I don't know. I suppose it's a bit like having a computer and sticking a steering wheel on it and it doesn't have any purpose because it's not connected to anything. You can't play driving games with it. It's just there. So it's kind of, that is becoming an annoyance to me, and just very strange on the choice of bands for the LTE and 4G. And I'm guessing what I read out is that what they were saying is they can't have two of one type, or two of two different types. It was either one or the other, and they opted for the other, which is possibly for Chinese, Asian, American market, but not the UK market. Bearing in mind we are really just a little island, so obviously it would make business sense to produce to the biggest market where you think you're going to make the most sales. But I do like it as a unit. I've had one before that had the DMR in it, but it was a way in the past pre-production model, and was very, very buggy and had lots of Chinese bits and pieces on it. And when you first got it and booted it up, everything was in Chinese, and it took me forever to find out where to put it in English. The funny thing is even after 5 attempts of actually doing it and finding where it was, I didn't write it down on a bit of paper. So I'd come back, reset it, and it's like, oh no, it's in Chinese again. I can't remember where I went. But that's probably just an age thing. Alright, Paul, put it round to you, and then if you want to put it round to the other station. From G1YPQ Mobile, Pontefract, West Yorkshire.
Thank you.
Yeah, fine business there, Carl. Yeah, like I say, I can pick nothing discernible up at the moment as regards the quality. just nice to hear you all. Hope you enjoyed your canal and your bicycle mobile, by the way. I did enjoy the pictures and the map, so thanks ever so much for that. And I hope everybody enjoyed the Network Radios Meets the Dinosaur. So there was, we can draw from that what we will, but I just thought it was a unique opportunity at Blackpool Zoo to have the RT4 about to be investigated by a Tyrannosaurus Rex. I thought that's a good combination, that, you know, for my off-the-wall sense of humour. Was really, really cracking to hear everybody over the weekend. Thank you very much the other day for sorting out the Android problem. The phone obviously touched something in my pocket with the screen being off, but you know, it was just a case of I think what had happened is that it had made some false connections and some false positives, and then it screwed everything into the nearest black hole where it all sort of disappeared. So I'm grateful to you and grateful to Steve for sorting it. Right, well, I'm not sure who it's next to go to, Carl, but I've spoken to Bob, by the way, and we are definitely on for Saturday, and we're going to try and set something up as regards a bit of a meet at the National over in Newark. So that's things are going to go ahead. And also, I wanted your feelings on, while you're on here, on me actually doing a tutorage for those who want to learn and have got the new book. I'm picking my copy up from Waterstones tomorrow, and I'm happy to put a bit of a net on one of the other channels, and people can sit around with their books open and can work out some questions and that sort of thing, and give them some guidance towards getting qualified as M6s. So round two of us next to take it. From M1 BPT in Stockport, over.
G4 UBK is on channel.
GW61S also on channel.
Yeah, G1YPQ. Do you want to take it up, please, there, Carl? Because I think you're maybe in the driving seat at the moment. M1 BPT just listening.
G4UBK, I think it was. G1YPQ. Not too sure if it's Zello. There is a station, I'm guessing in America somewhere, that did break in earlier. I've not heard anything back from him. I'll just go back to Paul. I'm actually going to have to set off mobile again, because I'm just parked up waiting for a good time to set off back to the works location, which is about now, in all honesty. But yeah, no, I don't have an issue with that at all, Paul. We can either just use one of the top end channels, or we do have an events channel that we can just take the passwords off and make it an open channel for a period of time. You know, for the evening or daytime, whenever it is you decide to do it. Just come back to us later on when you firm something up, and we can sort something out there. It doesn't have to be there, but just obviously keep it away from the 00 mainly. Or as I say, we can use the events channel and just make it an open channel for a specific period of time. So there you go. I just put it up to I think it was a G4 station. Can we just try leave a gap and see if the American station is still with us? From G1YPQ stroke mobile. Name's Carl, and location is Pontefract in West Yorkshire.
I guess that'd be me. Good day to you, Carl, and hi, Paul. It's Rob in Pennsylvania. Just been listening here for a while, and I wanted to throw my 2 cents in. I'm also on a Boxchip. I've had mine for about a month now, and I really like it. One of the other guys I work with just picked one up, and he's got the DMR version, and he's found it to be pretty buggy. Sorry about all the noise in the background here. I'm in a paramedic squad today, so I'm on my way to a rendezvous with an ambulance and hopefully sort things out there. So anyway, just wanted to say hello to everybody, and I'm listening here while I make my way. N7LXI, the name is Rob, and I'm in Lancaster, Pennsylvania.
Yeah, okay, Rob. I'll pick it up there, because I'm going to have to set off mobile and won't be able to use the radio. Lovely to speak to you, and yeah, what a great job. Fantastic. Hopefully we'll pick up again. I'm using the S700B, and just arrived yesterday. We are finding a few little issues. But other than that, fantastic piece of kit, great screen, etc. But it'd be nice to compare some notes at some point. I'm going to put it around to you, Paul. There's the I think it was a G4 station. I'm going to disappear now, but just go to standby and listening. But hopefully catch up with you later on. I'll be out walking the dog from probably around 5:30 when I get home. So we will be back on at around that time. Round to you, Paul. Nice talking to you. We don't get much chance, like we were just saying to Roy. We tend to miss each other. I do hear you on a lot because I'm monitoring a lot, but I am generally around. So round to you, Paul. I'll say 7-3s to everyone else, and we'll catch up with you later on. G1YPQ mobile to standby, and M1BBT PBT to pick it up. Off to you, Paul.
Yeah, from M1BPT. Well, safe driving there, Carl. And my simple wish to a fellow medic over there, Rob, may all your shouts be safe ones, mate, as you're on your way to make that RVP. Sure, we had a G4 station and a GW station, I believe, out there. So G4 station, sorry I didn't get the suffixes, gentlemen, but round to you first, and then we'll just take it in order. From M1BPT in the group.
But we don't know the call sign there. The name here is Keith, G4UBK in southern Cornwall.
G7FCT mobile also calling in.
From M1BPT, good evening, Rick, G7 FCT, back with you just 30 seconds. Just interesting for you, Keith, there's a app which will run on there, Network Signal Information Pro. I'm just wondering if you put something like that onto it, it might be able to actually then have a look at the actual cell towers and see what bands it is actually working on and do a little bit of detective work. And that way it might tell you that you may have a tower nearby to you, but it could be out of service at the moment. So that was just the quick thought on it. Round to you, Rick, G7FCT mobile, M1BPT group.
Yeah, Golf 7 Fox, Charlie Tango mobile, very good evening all. Trust everybody's well. Just heard Carl clearing. We sat there for a few minutes just listening to people talking about the Boxchips. Looks a lovely set, a bit pricey. And early days still from what I'm already hearing, with comments about throw the aerial over the fence and things like that. And I was talking to somebody this morning who was saying that it's not covering all the UK 4G bands. It might as well be a 3G set rather than the 4G. Whether that's a hardware or a software issue, I think remains to be seen, but listening with interest. G7FCT mobile.
Yeah, I'm not sure who was to take it there. G4 UBK, hello to you, Rick. G7 SCT. Yeah, I know exactly what bands it will work on. And what we've got round here, we've only got one antenna this is Cornwall, you know. Anything that comes in from anywhere, unless I stand on top of the roof, we've only got O2, and we never had that only for a year ago. We had no signals at all. But there we are. And yeah, it's a shame they left that one out, because they could have. It's built into the machine, so it isn't a case of flashing it. It's not a case of firmware upgrading. It's actually manufactured in the machines where they choose to put the bands. So, and there's a lot of them, but they're all for Hong Kong probably and Europe. You know, not for the UK. They just left that band 20 out, which was very sad, really. So I'll put it, because I don't know who's to take it now, I'll put it round to Paul then. M1BPT, G4UBK.
Yeah, G4UBK, M1BPT group. Oh, no, it's just an interesting thought as to what services were on what towers, because I did notice that with this very old F22, which only runs 3G, I put an analyzer on it, and round my town they were shutting down 3G, well, massively. I mean, I spent 90% out of service and 10% in, and then I went to an RT4 on 4G, and with the different services that it has available on the handset, and I'm now spending 90% in and 10% out. So that says to me, and that was on a journey of over 480 mile. I mean, I would go from Manchester to Preston, from Preston to Barrow, from Barrow to Carlisle, and then from Carlisle back to Preston, and then back via Bolton back to Manchester. So it was quite significant on the, but it's amazing when you actually look at the analysis on each tower of what's installed there, what's actually in service and what is out. So, that's what I thought about it, Keith. Anyway, let's put it round to Ricky's mobile and take it he's on his way home from work on the way back to the home QTH. So, round to you, Rick. G7FCT, M1 BPT group with a pause.
Okay, Paul, no problems at all. Good afternoon, it's G7FCT Melo. And listening with interest. Yeah, I run a cell app in the background on my 320 and on the mobile. It records whichever sim I've got selected, it will record the cell towers, signal strengths, and I'm building up a picture of between the EE sim and the GIF-GAF sim as to cell coverage on the commutes, which towers are up, which are down. It's quite interesting to look at the trace when I get home. The thing is, I have to, I can't look at it on the 320 or the mobile phone. I have to save the trace and then look at it on the laptop. Won't even allow me to do it via the tablet. So it is interesting to see the changes on almost a daily basis. Okay, on his mobile phone just pulled out in front of me. He drives a big Volvo 4x4, so he's allowed to. G7FCT mobile.
Good afternoon, gentlemen. GM0RLU mobile on his evening run up to the hospital. GM0RLU, just listening.
Hi Tony, lovely to hear you, mate. Do you want to take it? I'm sort of plodding around at the moment, just keeping one ear on at the moment, and nice to hear Keith from Southern Cornwall as well. G4UBK. Round to you, Tony from M1 BPT Group.
GM0RLU mobile returning. Yes, good afternoon, gentlemen. I just listened to the bits and pieces about the Boxchip. Do I want to spend that sort of money? Maybe not. But I think it looks like it's like yourself that there's a lot of pros and cons again, isn't there, on any radio. I think it's the case just at least the first version's coming out, so they always bring out an updated version at a later date. So wait and see. But no, it's you can tell the schools are back up here. The bloody roads are busy. Sounds daft. Okay, it's 4:30 or 5 o'clock-ish, but like I say, you always know where the schools are back. Like I say, these roads have just suddenly, literally overnight, have gone really, really busy up here. So there you go. Right, I don't know who's going to take it next. I'm looking at, like I say, I'm just going to be monitoring more than anything. I'll try and get through all these, through the traffic lights and roundabouts I'm going to get through. So I'll pass it back to somebody else pick it up. GM0ROU mobile in Dundee, for those that don't know where I am.
Died 68 on the side listening in, currently mobile in Ilkeston in Derbyshire, walking along the Yellow Wash Canal with the dog. Interesting conversation, I'll just sit on the side. Died 68.
From M1 BPT, welcome and good evening to you. From M1 BPT in Stockport. Just looking at your picture, by the way, Keith, with the new super duper yellow cap antenna. I'm just wondering if there was actually a connection on board. I have actually put on the Boxchip group. I've asked a friend of mine to actually, he manufactures antennas, but I don't like to mention company names on here for ethical reasons, because you get some people who prefer certain products and certain suppliers, and I'm sure the main suppliers will understand this. And I've asked him to actually put the antennas on a Cobham analyzer. Now, I was going to buy a Cobham for myself for here till myself and Bob 2E0RHM went to the BAPCO conference, because we're both members of the Emergency Communicators Great Britain organisation, and we went and asked him to pop the antennas on there, and he says, oh, you can buy this one after the show, £10,600 discount. I thought, that's a serious piece of test equipment, but we'll have to see what comes back from it, because they actually do produce antennas for vehicles, particularly covert ones that are multi-band and do GSM and GPS and everything else all rolled into one. But as my friend says, it's an absolutely massive compromise, on what you can do with it. So, just we'll have to just keep on moving along. Anyway, so I'll put it round, if I may, in the group to the gentleman whose name I didn't actually get, and I didn't get much of a call sign there because you were a little bit quick for me to get an eye on the screen, over on the Erie Wash Canal with his four-legged friend walking and listening. From M1 BPT in the group in Stockport, over.
Yeah, hello, it's Kevin from Ilkeston. Call sign at the moment. I'm pre-foundation license, so no ham call sign, but under the name of Dyad, D-Y-A-D, Delta Yankee Alpha Delta 68. Just walking under a road bridge, a bit noisy here. Yeah, just out walking the dog on the T320, on the SIM card until I get back home, back onto Wi-Fi. Back to the group, over.
Yeah, good evening to you, Kevin. Nice to hear you, and your four-legged friend was no doubt there, could pick the echo up. I was just saying to Carl, G1YPQ, that I'm going to be running, I'm going to put it on the Facebook group, a few of the other operators who are pre-M6 who are looking to train. I've got the new book, and I'm going to be running like a round table sort of discussion groups and the like, working away through the syllabus. I'm going to either have an events channel or I'm going to use one of the other channels. I've just been going to talk to the mod group about it. Once I've got it squared away, I'm going to pop it on the Facebook group, and then I'll commit a couple of hours a week on a maybe a Tuesday night, because I have lodges I go to in the evenings, and then I'll see if I can, come on a Tuesday evening. It's usually the best time for me, and I could have an hour with the book with you, and work your way through it. So it'd be my pleasure to help everybody through, as I am a trainer. From M1 BPT, over.
M1 BBT from Dyad 68. Oh, that sounds terrific. That's very good. I've actually bought the Foundation License Now book. I've read it through cover to cover. Not that it's a very large book. Yeah, it'd be very interesting. I'd be very keen for that one indeed. Back to you, over.
Yeah, Dyad 68 from M1 BPT. Yes, well, what I'm looking to do is to go page by page and work out some of the interesting questions, and if I don't know, I'm sure there'll be many other people sitting listening who'd be happy to chip in and come back with some answers, because there is I'd rather train people to be competent radio operators than just be confident ones who are confident, but I'd rather have people competent. It sounds a very similar word but slightly different, and make sure that everybody gets a good chance to get through it first time. And it's great that people are actually coming on here, finding it their feet, unlike people like myself, who it took my granddad sitting on his knee from very, very young age to get the maths into me and everything else over many, many years for me to get through it. But it can be done relatively easily. And when I've finished that one, then I'll be looking for those like my brother, who M3 UTJ wants to do his 2E0. So I'm going to be then helping him. And again, we can possibly do that over network radios, just to give a bit of moral peer support, if nothing else. Anyway, I think it's Keith UBK to take it with the Boxchip with the yellow button on the top, from M1 BPT in the group.
IZ0JUB.
GW6YMS on the side.
GW6YMS, where did you go? Welcome back. Round to you, sir.
Yeah, GW6YMS. Well, this new device of mine decided it didn't want to talk to anybody. I don't know what was wrong with it, but very, very strange. It's a rather heavy radio, and I was sort of putting it down, and I must have knocked one of the buttons. It's got a PTT on the side and an SOS button, which I'm keeping my fingers away from at the moment till I fathom it out. But it seems to work all right. But trying to get it paired up with my Legend headphone set has been quite a job. But as I say, it's one of these radios with lots and lots of buttons on it, and it's as I say, the SOS one is really getting me a little worried. GW6YMS.
Yeah, GW6YMS from M1 BPT. What model is it?
GW6YMS. It's called an Aero, and it's quite a hefty beast. It's got a 5.5300 mega ampere hour battery in it. I'll tell you, it takes hours to charge it. GW6YMS.
From M1 BPT. Well, I'm not sure that the SOS buttons, unless they're programmed on a PC to a dispatch console, do very much. But if you can get a Button Mapper Pro on there, you might be able to actually press it and then actually disable it, so then it isn't so much of a problem. In the Button Mapper Pro app, I've had to do that with my F22, and also I've done a similar thing with my RT4. So no, that's I think the one of the ways forward, in because you can actually set them to actually be disabled, or you can actually add it as a second PTT button next to your PTT. Again, in Zello, you can actually add a PTT button, and it'll say press now, and it'll actually find the a hex code for it and store it, so that Zello will actually recognize it. So if you hit it by accident, the worst you're going to do is put a signal out on the channel from M1 BPT in the group.
Yeah, GW6YMS. Yeah, oh, I know all about that. I suddenly found that I programmed the volume button as a PTT by mistake, because I knocked it with my hand when I was doing it. But it seems to work anyway. But as I say, the job is getting it charged. It takes ages to charge. It's got wireless charging on it as well as a fast charge. And on the fast charge, it takes about 3 hours to charge fully. And on the wireless charge, it takes absolutely ages. So I don't think I'll be using that very well. But, lots of things on it. I think you'd be interested. It's got a thing called a heart monitor on it. What that does, I haven't fathomed out yet. It's also got a gyro compass on it, and all sorts of things. It's quite a super duper machine, but as I say, quite heavy. It's all aluminium with rubber casing all around it, and it looks as if you could drop it on the floor. GW6YMS.
From M1 BPT. Well, if you happen to use Facebook, would you be so kind as to post a picture for us, and then at least I can have a little look, and because I'm intrigued by these sort of things. It just kind of I'm a very, very, shall we say, avid collector. I wouldn't say fanatical, but avid. And I've been writing a book on the story of the handheld radio, and I'm about a third of the way through at the moment. But the collection goes here from about 1934 right the way up to the current date. And I'm now at the moment looking at acorn valves, and they're using those for infield PRC9s and the like during the Second World War. Looking at the field packs and the transceivers that were used then. That's where the history and that sort of thing, and then taking it forward to look at the 1950s. And I'm doing it 10 year by 10 year by 10 year, so I haven't even got anywhere near the Motorola era and the use of crystals or anything like that. We're just looking at acorn valves and virtually steam radio at the moment. Not sure who's next to take it, because I don't want to continue hogging everything. I'll put it round to you, Keith, if I may. G4UBK in Southern Cornwall, M1 BPT group.
G4UBT returning. Yeah, good timing, Paul. So I've got to go. I should be listening on, but I've got to go and cook a tea in a minute. Yeah, it's very. What's the film, by the way? Oh yes, I remember. I learned about them back in 1980. Yeah, real good. We were told to bury a Bell radio in the garden at one time because if there was a P wave, it would knock out anything that's transistorized. And I don't know if that's still a fact or not, but I guess it probably would be. In fact, I think the whole country would go down, wouldn't it, if we had one of those go away? And it'd probably knock out the Boxchip as well. And by the way, Paul, it's a brilliant idea to well, you've got these spare channels we want to not use to do a tuition evening there. Because wouldn't I give an arm and a leg for that back in the days? But luckily we went to Colchester where old Frank G3FIJ was a brilliant tutor, and we were a group of CBers. Nothing wrong in that. We were radio enthusiasts, and we went along there and eventually accepted by the club, and really, we swelled the numbers by a lot, and he was so good that we went through and eventually passed one bit, and then I lost a wife through Morse code, but that does happen. It drives everybody mad, doesn't it? Anyway, I won't hold it because there's quite a big group here, and well, I don't know whether Kevin's he's probably still listening, Rick, Roy, Rob, and even Carl is possibly listening. And of course, he was one of the instigators of the network channels, which we thank him immensely, and all that helped. Anyway, I'll put it back to you, Paul, because I'll just be listening from now onwards. But it is lovely to join a reasonable group here, and such nice people. M1BTP, well, that's a mouthful, isn't it? M1BPT, G4UBK.
Yeah, from M1BPT, yeah, it's Mike 1, bread, pies, tea cakes, as I was christened by the Leicester Radio Society. Hi. So yeah, that's the way to think of it. All things munching and tea's coming up. But for me, it's the life of a bunny rabbit. I'm on salad tonight for me tea. But there you go. I was on cooked yesterday, and went to my Slimming World today and lost another pound and a half, nearly £2. So that was a good move. Okay, not sure who's next to take it, so it's in the air with it this time round. So whoever wants to pick it up. Do you want to pick it up, perhaps, Rick, from M1BPT Group?
Just a quickie, I'm doing Slim World as well. I nearly got a goal weight, and carry on the other station.
Oh, we can have a one-to-one about this, and I can share some very, very good recipes with you. Send me a contact request, and I'll reply to it, and then we can have a one-to-one, and I can tell you my progress and my story, because that's quite amazing. Because you got to be in the. I thought I was never going to get any help, and it was over 100 miles from home when I was actually told about this. But it's a long story, and it'll bore everybody on here to tears. But good luck with it, and hope that you're not far off your Club 10. From M1BPT in the group.
Here we get a Slimming channel. HI, G4UBK listening.
G7FCT mobile maybe needs to join said channel. Okay, all copied, guys. Yeah, Paul, listening with interest to the writing the book. Didn't realise that. Sounds really, really interesting. You've certainly picked a niche subject. Handhelds and backpacks. I could only comment on stuff from the late 70s, mid to late 70s. Both civilian and military. Handhelds and backpacks. So other than that, I'll pass. More right on valves and crystals. And transistors, yeah, we're into the new stuff as well now. Anyway, thoroughly enjoying listening for a change instead of me doing lots of chatting and calling people in. You're doing a really good job, Paul. So far be it from me to grab it. I'll pass it back round to you, and you can bring somebody else in. G7FCT mobile.
From M1BPT, fine business there. I take it then we're talking post A41 and pre PRC 320s and 319s, Rick. They're sort of a thing that I do like. Green boxes, by the way. Anything that was big and green, because for my sins carrying a 319 and a 320, I did that for too many miles, and now my back suffers with the and the idea of the bicycle charging, where they got the double hand crankers and hand cranking the 320. and using ever-ready batteries in a 349 and a 350. Oh, it goes on and on and on, mate. We could reminisce about this all night. I hope you're making your way safely back home as well. Oh, and a really interesting weekend talking of radio, and I'm preparing myself at the moment for a radio exam in September. I'm renewing, as I told you, I think I told you the other week, Rick, I'm doing the civil aviation ground station to ground to air license and getting mine renewed. So that I've got the new manuals, parts of the CAA, the airmanship books, and working my way through those at the moment. Okay, no problem at all. We'll see who's next in line. Now, here's a good question, because me with my very delicate memory, I'm afraid I've had to throw it in the air again. So whoever it is next, in order please, gentlemen, from M1 BPT in the group.
Very quickly, briefly, Paul. Yeah, mine is still valid after I've checked the other day. I checked it. Still valid, you're right, 10 years.
From M1 BPT, I thought it was, and like I say, mine's out in August, and I've actually managed to get myself back in start of September. But I tell you what, on the civilian side, it is damned expensive. I mean, I've been quoted by Barton Aerodrome at the Veterans Garage £300. So that's a sizable amount, but it's just to keep it with the boat license and the PMR and everything else. So there we go. Right, not sure who's next to take it, buddy. From M1 BPT in the group.
Wow, there's silence. I'll pick it back up again. Yeah, I did have a look at the maritime piece as well, and it's not one that I've ever held. Decided not to bother for. I'll stick with the amateur license, the CAA ground to air